Fazio.
All right, hello and welcome to Driver Interviews with Bobby Fazio. It's the Tuesday Tell-All. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. We're already into April. I can't believe it. So, all right, ripping it off. There we go. Can you hear me now, James? You know, you buy these microphones, they don't work. Let me know if you can hear me now, everybody. In the meantime, let's get to the important stuff, right? Driverinterviews.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You go to the website, it should pop up in your face, big red sign that says subscribe, you know? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click on it. Like these videos. Share them. Do what you can to help out the cause here. I'm trying to promote stock and super stock drag racing and, you know, eventually go into other categories as well to give them some promotion also. If you want shirts, if you want stickers, if you want hats, let me know. Sponsorship opportunities, donations are always appreciated. I don't really hunt for those, but I do appreciate when they come in. So thank you to everybody that does send them in. At Driver Interviews is the handle on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And use the hashtag #TheCarShow. Brian O'Toole posted some really nice pictures from Pomona this past weekend, and I shared them and didn't miss an opportunity to use that hashtag. So people were thinking I was out there. I was not out there. Brian O'Toole took some nice pictures, and I just shared them. And yeah, the cars on the West Coast out there are just killer. It was really nice to see. Show is always brought to you by Lupe Tortilla, Texmex.com. Weekend brunches, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Watermelon mint margarita and the blood orange margarita now too. Okay, Houston area, Austin area, San Antonio area, down in Texas. Check it out. DragInsights.com brings you every episode as well. Right now, free version, you can look at your opponent's data. So get in there, hurry up and sign up. All you need is an email address. And anybody that is on the free version, get in there and check out your opponent's data. Start prepping for new races coming up. Don't miss out, all right? Rob Youngblood, AdvancedClutches.com. Thank you, Rob Youngblood, for supporting the show. And go to AdvancedClutches.com if you need a clutch. If you are a stick shift racer, you're thinking about switching. Clutch technology these days is way better than it was when I was a little kid and used to watch my dad deal with it and get under those cars every single time he made a pass, adjustments, and all that crap. No, if you watched any of my last 3 interviews that I did, Casey Miles, Brad Zaskowski, Brent Derrick, they're putting clutches in and running them for a year or 2 before they're servicing them, okay? So I highly recommend clutches. Stick shift racing is way more fun now than it used to be. Don Kennedy Race Car Insurance. Check it out. Give Don a call, 602-284-6240. I saw he hooked a couple people up with race car insurance on Class Racer, Larry Hill being one of them. And he put out a nice post that Don was very helpful and takes care of everything for you. And the policies are very cheap to start out. $180 per year, I believe, is the starting policy. CP Carrillo Pistons. Nick Diaz is my boy at CP. So Nick at cpcarrillo.com. Don't forget the hyphen, 2 R's, 2 L's. Tell him Bobby Fazio sent you. And tell Total Seal Piston Rings Bobby Fazio sent you. If you talk to Keith Jones, if you talk to Lake Speed, if you talk to anybody else there, tell them I sent you. And we thank them for their support as well. Okay. All right. Who's out there? Sorry about the sound thing in the beginning. You know what? That really makes me mad. I thought I had this all set up and ready to go. But hello, Russ Abrams. Thank you for joining the show. James Hill, I'm glad you can hear me now. How you doing, James? Out of Georgia. Pete Lanciers, there he is. Got you now, Pete. All right, Pete. Saw you out there in Pomona. Pete, did you have a heads up in Pomona? No, I'm trying to remember. Walt Walker, all right, I'm glad you can hear me now. Thank you. Scott, yes, there I am. Tom Tracy, yes. Dean Tate. Don is a great guy and longtime SS racer. Long time. Yeah, he is. Dean Tate. Following in a live show. I don't know if I've ever seen you on here, Dean. I know you comment on a lot of the videos, interviews that I make. So glad to see you. All right, so we only have one birthday this week, April 1st, an April Fool's birthday. So when you go on Drag Insights on the homepage, it has like a master race schedule, and you can see what's happening where, nationals, divisionals, NMRA, NMCA, what have you. And it also has users' birthdays if they put in their birthday when they signed up. So happy birthday, Bob Michael. He's a stock racer. April Fool's Day, April 1st birthday. So we only have one up to this point from last week, from the last time I announced all the birthdays. But I know we have plenty of them coming up this weekend. So next week, we'll be giving a lot of birthday shout-outs. So happy birthday there, Bob Michael. I believe he runs K-Stock Automatic. Heads up with Mark Kirby there, Pete. All right. I don't know, Mark. I guess he's pretty fast. Mark Kirby made these hats, by the way, wickedstitches.com. And I need some more of them, Mark Kirby. So if anybody is near Mark Kirby right now, tell him. Walter Campbell. How you doing, Walt? Hi, everyone, and hi to you, Walter. Thanks for joining. All right, so I hate doing this, but we're starting out with sad news again, okay? In Division 1, Shirley Jewell. Now, some of you may remember not long ago, maybe a year ago, if it's been that long, Jeffrey Jewell passed away. I believe he was 50 years old. His father, Larry Jewell, races. Shirley Jewell is always with Larry at the track. Larry and son Jeff both had super stock 1967 Corvettes. I've raced against Larry a lot of times. I've raced against Jeff maybe once or twice. But Jeff passed away suddenly last year. I saw Larry, several months back. We actually had to race each other. And Larry was, upset as any parent would be at the loss of their son. But he told me that Shirley was not taking it well. And it was heartbreaking. And now Shirley has passed away. And, some would say that Shirley may have died of a broken heart. And really sad. Shirley always videoed every run that Larry made. She always had I think it was like the VHS recorder there. She was always at the track with Larry. And now it's like Larry just lost the son that raced with him. He lost his wife that ran with him, traveled with him. And it's like terrible, terrible news. Rest in peace, Shirley Jewell. Really sorry for that family. Really sorry for Larry. I mean, if anybody's near Larry, pray for Larry and extend, warm wishes and prayers for Larry. I can't imagine what that poor man's going through right now. I hope we'll see him at the track again soon. Will we? I don't know. I mean, racing is probably very far from his mind right now. It seemed like he wasn't into it that much last year when I actually raced against him. So he just, he's preoccupied. The brain can get preoccupied with things other than racing. It's happened to me a couple times. And it's just, so very sorry for the Jewell family and Shirley Jewell. Rest in peace. Larry's a Pennsylvania fella, I believe, Western Pennsylvania or Harrisburg, far away from me. And but I really hope to see him at the track. All right, yes, very sad, Walt, very sad. Nick Ryder's listening. Hi. And 67 CUDA K-Stock Automatic. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know who that is, sir. So if you, or ma'am, if you would mind sharing your name so we can all say hello to you properly. And thanks for joining us. All right, so we're in Pomona. We're going to shift to Pomona, where we just had the Winter Nationals. It was the first time that I can remember that the Winter Nationals wasn't the first race on the tour. Okay, we started in the East Coast at the Gator Nationals, and then traveled out west for this Western swing that's going on out there. Phoenix, Pomona, and then next race out there, which is in 2 weeks. There's no racing this weekend. It's Easter weekend. So in 2 weeks is the Vegas 4-wide national event. So they have a little Western swing. I don't really know why they started in Florida to go out to the West. Like, I just like, why cross the country and then cross the country back? But smarter people than me are making those decisions. I just don't know why that happens. David Lee, 67 CUDA K-Stock Automatic. All right, David, thanks for joining us, pal. But anyways, In-N-Out Burger basically rescued drag racing on the West Coast, for now, or absolutely rescued it at Pomona, at the historic Fairplex, LA County Fairplex. And Lindsay Snyder, the owner of In-N-Out Burger, was actually racing at the Winter Nationals this weekend in Top Sportsman. So that's pretty cool that we raced with the owner of In-N-Out Burger. Another cool thing is In-N-Out Burger was actually at the track serving hamburgers. And I mean, oh my God, that's like a dream come true right there. I wish there was an In-N-Out Burger here on the East Coast. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but to be at a track where there's In-N-Out Burger and the prices didn't even look that bad. Like, I've been to Pomona a couple times, and those food trucks there or the snack stands, they can really jack it. I mean, geez, some chicken fingers and fries down in Gainesville was like $15, and they were serving burgers in Pomona, In-N-Out Burgers, for like $8. So that seemed pretty amazing. I really wish I could have been there. First NHRA national event was a 71 Winter Nationals. All right, Dean, did you race in it? And are you still racing nowadays? Or what's going on? Any plans to? Donnie Vault, East Stick, car number 229. Thanks for joining us, Donnie. Appreciate it. All right. Love new listeners coming in, new viewers, listeners. All right. So In-N-Out Winter Nationals. It's not the In-N-Out Winter Nationals. This is In-N-Out Finals in November, but I'm going to call it the In-N-Out Winter Nationals. What was that? Lucas Oil Winter Nationals? I don't remember what the title sponsor was, but In-N-Out Burger saved Pomona. So In-N-Out, you get it today. Let's go over some results here. Stock Eliminator. In the final, okay, we had Brian McClanahan, who has a 69 Camaro with a 427. He was running AA stock automatic, versus killer Kyle Rizzoli in another 69 Camaro. I believe Kyle's is a 396 combination. So, how about this? I mean, AA versus A would have been really cool if it was a heads up, right? I mean, we love heads up finals, and it's usually 69 Camaros in our heads up finals that are hugely popular. But this was a dial-in bracket race. Brian McClanahan dials a 993, cuts an 019 light, and runs a 995, 133 miles an hour. That's a winnable run right there. I mean, that should win you, 90% of your runs. Too bad, though, for Mr. McClanahan, because Kyle Rizzoli, who dialed 1025, so Kyle was getting about a 3/10 head start. He cuts a 002 light and runs 1026.5. So 15th out over at 120 miles an hour. So Kyle Rizzoli, 002. Now, Alan Reinhart said Kyle Rizzoli lost in the final of Superstock at Phoenix. No, was it at Phoenix or Superstock or Stock? He lost in the final to Jody Lang the week before. And Jody Lang had a 002 light in that final. So now Kyle had a 002 light and got his final round win. And Kyle's won at Pomona quite a few times, 4 times, I think they said. So he likes that track. He's a West Coast guy. He's from San Luis Obispo, California, I think it is. So I don't really know where that is, but that's the name of it. I need to raise this chair up, short as it is. And when I pull a comment up, it's covering my beautiful face, right? Can personally attest that having In-N-Out double at the drag strip eases the pain of a first-round Winter Nationals loss. I bet, Pete. You know what? If there was an In-N-Out Burger at our tracks, man, and I had to use that for consolation after a loss, I'd probably be 300 pounds right now. But it would certainly be wonderful. For now, you get ice cream. If there's no In-N-Out, just get ice cream at the snack bar. It makes every loss slightly better. All right. Well, we got a couple comments here. Do you remember spectator parking was just a dirt lot? First time I was ever at Pomona was the finals, 1989. We were out there. I had an uncle who lived out in California, and we visited him. It was like October. I got out of a week of first grade, and it was a wonderful trip. I still remember it. 1989. So it's like October 89 and the finals. And I had like this. We went to Disneyland that week. I had this Goofy hat that I still have. A hat, Goofy's face on it, and the flappy ears, and I was wearing it at the track. And I think it was like Kenny Koretsky saw me, said, "Yeah, kid, get over here," and picked me up. I got pictures with like a bunch of drivers. I think Larry Morgan, Mike Lewis was there, the owner of Maple Grove, which is funny because I still have a picture with Mike Lewis holding me, and I have a picture with Kenny Koretsky holding me. Mike Lewis used to own Maple Grove. Kenny Koretsky owns it now. So I got a picture with the two owners of Maple Grove. And on the way out of Pomona, pulling out of the parking lot, now I've fallen asleep in the back of the car. It was a Pinto. My uncle had a Pinto wagon, and somebody hit us on the way out of the parking lot. Turned into a big shouting match. My uncle was driving. My dad was in the front seat. I was like falling asleep in the back seat on the traffic jam on the way out of the parking lot. And it was a big shouting match. And I heard, in my first grade 6-year-old ears that the gentlemen that hit us were drunk because my uncle and my dad were yelling at them for being drunk and clipping us on the way out of the parking lot. And my uncle's Pinto bumper was hanging off the back of the car. And I guess him and my dad fixed it, or we drove home like that. That's all I can remember. This is going back 1989. What's that? 34 years ago now? Oh my God. But anyways, just a little side note. That was the first time I was ever at Pomona, and then I never went back again until 2008. So, California, way more crowded back then. I don't like how they have we sat on that side that they have covered now, like no spectators are in on the right side of the track. Now you can only sit on the left side. Doesn't look like you can sit on the right side anymore. I remember back at that point, that was the only place we could find a seat was on that right side because it was so packed that weekend. So I really wish we could get back to that kind of crowd back in Southern California. Kyle lost in the finals of Superstock in Phoenix to Brad Burton's 2-pack. That's it. God, Walt, all these superstar drag racers, and they're jumbled up in my head. Thanks for clearing that. That's why I need Walt Walker on at all times. He fixes my screw-ups. Scott Logie, Bobby, and am I coming to the Vegas Divisional? I don't know when that is. I know there's a national at Vegas in 2 weeks, but I'm racing Cecil County Division 1 in 2 weeks, so I will not be out there for the Vegas National event. Is the divisional event the weekend after? Let me know, Scott. All right. So, also, Kyle Rizzoli, he had a heads up with Dwayne Sheitlin in the, first, second, third, fourth round, I believe it was. And I think he won that one pretty handily. He was 0.47 on the tree, ran 10.03 with a 2, 96 under. So he kept it. He didn't hit that 1 second trigger. So good driving job by Kyle Rizzoli. I mean, this is a whole new skill for stock and super stock racers. Winning, by as little as possible in heads up runs. We've always kind of been doing that. But now it's like more important than ever because you don't want to hit that 1 second trigger. And I see drivers like qualifying number 1 without hitting the 1 second trigger. So it's definitely added a whole another level to this game. Killer lights by Kyle throughout the whole day. 007, 010, 024, 47 against Sheitlin. He had a heads up, and I think he was holding back a little bit. 002 in the final. He didn't. It says he ran Jeff Atkinson and had no time, so I don't know what happened there. Somebody wants to chime in and let me know. I guess I wasn't watching. I missed that one. And then Brian McClanahan was tearing it up also. So he had to race his own son in the first round. That's a very poor qualifying job, if I may say so, or very strategic. One of them was trying to get past first round and get some free points. I don't know, but sad to race your son first round, and he clipped his son, man. He was 0.28 on the tree and ran a 9.83. Broke out by 19th hour. I guess it was a double breakout where his son red lit. 0.43 against Mangus after that. 0.24 after that against Williams. 0.10 against John Irving after that. 12 against Chad Langdon after that. And then 19 in the final. So Brian McClanahan was driving very well. And by the way, I see Chad Langdon in that semifinal there. There's a guy who's been driving very well also in that, Barracuda he's got. So keep it up there, Chad. I did a nice interview on Chad last year at Vegas about how, he was very sick. He bounced back. Guy's driving lights out right now. He got late rounds last couple races I've seen. So keep it up there, Chad. Clay Smith, Cam's team. Don't know, Scott. I know I just that one flashed back up. Pete's saying yes, and I don't know what you're saying yes to because I forget. And Brian Zenson, hey, late arrival. That's okay. That's okay. We just finished the results in stock. Phenomenal driving jobs by both drivers. Let's move it into super stock. All right, Anthony Bertozzi. He goes. He lives in Virginia over here. Travels out to the West Coast. Brings a top dragster. Brings the Grand Am here in super stock and doubles up. Man, what's it like to double up? To hold two of them big wallies up on that stage. And he gave a pretty cool speech, too, in his winner circle. And they always call him St. Anthony for some reason. If somebody can tell me why he's called St. Anthony, let me know. I always pray to St. Anthony when I lose something. And it usually works, by the way. And so I don't know why Anthony Bertozzi is St. Anthony. Yeah, I don't know. Is he just a really nice guy, or is there some other backstory behind that? Somebody let me know. But anyways, St. Anthony was in the final. He's got a super stock, A modified stock, 98 Pontiac Grand Am. Probably some, I don't know, small cubic inch motor that screams really loud. Going up against Len Schneider in the 1984 Ford Thunderbird. I've been seeing this car ever since I've been going out to Pomona the last, 10 years or so. And the car is like really cool to me. It reminds me, we had an old Thunderbird when I was growing up. My parents had one. It was an 89 Thunderbird. It looks slightly different than this one. But just when I see the Len Schneider's Thunderbird, it just reminds me of childhood. So his is running GTK automatic. I don't know what engine combo. It might be a 351. If anybody wants to chime in and let me know, I'd appreciate that. So in that final, Anthony Bertozzi was taking no prisoners. He was 004. He dialed 893, and he ran 898. He had some room down there at 140 miles an hour. Len Schneider dialed 1001. Len Schneider was number 4 qualifier. He qualified at a 995. He's fast. He can go a second under with this car. So he dialed 1001. He was 049 on the tree and ran a 1005. So he was a little late on the tree, and he was 4 off his dial. And that's not going to cut it against Anthony Bertozzi. That guy is killer. So Len was cutting him down. I mean, he was 019 and 019 the 2 rounds prior to that. So he was driving lights out. He was 014 in the first round against John Irving. He was 034 against Chuck Stubeck when he beat Chuck. And he beat Chuck at the finals in November also. So I think Chuck Stubeck is not happy with Len Schneider at this point in time. And I do believe Len Schneider builds Chuck Stubeck's converters. So they might have a love-hate relationship right now. But Len's only bad light, I wouldn't even say it was a bad light, was a 48 in the third round and then a 49 in the final. And some people get a little gun shy in the final. Some people go for it in the final. It's hard. I've been on both ends of that. I've been very late in a final. You just don't want to go red. And yeah, it can bite you sometimes. But congratulations, Anthony Bertozzi. Somebody tell me why he's called St. Anthony. 004 light in the final, and wins top dragster as well. He's helped racers back in the D2 area. Okay, St. Anthony because he helps a lot of racers. He has a number of people driving cars he owns. NHRA in big bucks brackets. All right, that's good enough for me. So he's St. Anthony. I know. People drive for him. Definitely know that. I mean, I know Joe Santangelo drives his stocker, Bertozzi's stocker. It's a 69 Camaro, black one. And Santangelo wins, at least 50 races a year with every car he has. So he couldn't pick much better drivers. I wonder what other cars he has. Let me know if he's got any extras lying around that he's just dying to, his religious saintly self is dying to lend out to people that have vowels at the end of their names also. All right. By the way, it was a Rizzoli Bertozzi stock super stock. We had an basically all Italian day there in class racing out on the West Coast. So, hey, pretty cool. Not bad. I like it. All right. Next topic. What's the deal? I know you've all seen it. About that, that Comp Eliminator crew person that kind of got shoved off the starting line when that comp car, what was that guy's name? Kurt Hugger, I think was his name. Is that ringing a bell? Kurt Hugger, yeah, I think it was a truck, a Comp Eliminator truck. Okay, so the way I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at a comment that just popped up. Not this one. Chad Langdon is a stock eliminator legend out west. Was killer in stock back in the 70s and early 80s. Always with the Mopar. And Chad Langdon, for anybody that doesn't know, is Sean Langdon's father. Sean Langdon being the top fuel racer, and I think he was a Super Comp world champ and all that. How come Sean Langdon doesn't race class, or did he before? Sean Langdon ever race stock or super stock? Because that would make him a lot cooler than he already is in my eyes. John LaBouche drives for him too. Oh God, there's another killer driver. Yeah. WrestleMania weekend special. That's what I was laughing at. Okay. JR, there you are. Man, what took you so long? We're getting into the juicy topics now. All right. So, Comp Eliminator. I watched the video because it was all over Facebook. Kurt Hugger is racing somebody else. I don't know who it was in the other lane. The crew person walks up to Kurt's car. It looks like he's like trying to open his door and maybe reshut it. And that happens a lot. You see cars, like I see cars pulling in the burnout box and it looks like their door's not shut, but I don't want to be that guy that like tries to open and shut your door. What if there's like some special technique or something? I usually try to just point it to a crew person or one of your friends on the starting line and say, hey, is that guy's door shut? And they'll just say, yeah, it always looks like that. Or no, it's not. Let me go get it. All right, cool. So this guy tried to go over. It looked like he was trying to shut the door. The starter walked over and said, like, it looked like he was saying, like, get away from the car because they're both pre-staged, or he was like literally this close to pre-staging, and then he got in. So he went over, told the guy to get away from the car. The guy kind of walked away from the car, and the starter went back to his starter box, and then the guy went back over to the car. Now they're both pre-staged. So what are you doing? Are you trying to get this guy's door shut? What's the deal? I don't know. So if anybody knows what that guy was trying to do, let me know. So then the starter runs back over and like, shoves like for the guy's own. I'm sure it was, the intent was for this crew person's own good. I am getting him out of the way because both the pre-stage bulbs are on. This person could be rolling in. I'm looking this way. I'm trying to get you out of harm's way. If these lights start coming down, or if these cars go, or his foot slips, or his hand slips off of a trans brake button, whatever, it's not safe for a crew person to be touching a vehicle that's in the pre-stage. So I'm not even sure what the ruling is on that. I mean, are you allowed to touch the vehicles anymore after the burnout box? Because remember pro stockers back in the day were holding, they would like put their waist up against the back of the car while it did a burnout, and then it would drive out of the burnout. It's like, seemed like something that went on 100 years ago. Then it stopped for a while, but then like as little as like 5 years ago, that was happening again. They were standing next to the cars and doing the burnouts, right? Doesn't look like they're doing it anymore. So with that like kind of flip flop, I looked in the rule book for anything related to in general race procedure about like touching a car, and I couldn't find anything about after the burnout. You see what I have highlighted there is no person is permitted to hold or touch cars during burnouts. That's all I could find. So if I'm not looking in the right spot and somebody else knows, the actual ruling on this, let me know. Now, my opinion on this matter is I don't think you should be touching a car, once it's fired up and it rolls into the burnout box. I don't think you should be touching it anymore. What if something happens? What if the person, like I said, like their foot just it hits the throttle, slips off, something weird happens, and you are in the way of that car, or you're next to it where you kind of get run over or pulled under or whatever. It's scary. And then who is responsible? Like the whole reason that we all have tethers on our collectors now is because I think a dragster was doing a burnout. The collector fell off, went under the tire, and hit somebody that was standing right behind the dragster, or like right near the starting line at ACO. And I think there was a lawsuit involved. So then we all had to have collector tethers after that. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I hope there's no lawsuit against the starter for shoving the guy. Now, I've seen on Class Racer, people saying he really shoved the guy. Then somebody said, well, the guy's feet were stuck to the track because it is sticky up there, and that's why he fell. So it's, what do you guys think? I see a lot of comments here, so I want to get to them. I want to see what everybody's saying. That guy should have never touched the car. Very unsafe. Elder abuse. I don't know how old the guy was that got pushed. I can't tell from the video. Is anybody? Was it an older gentleman? I don't think you can after burnout, but I could be wrong. Should have been a DQ then, but it happened very fast too. And it kind of did. It did happen quickly. And the starter's processing what's going on here. You don't want to punish the racer in the right lane that had nothing to do with what was going on in the left lane. He was pre-staged and waiting. So I don't want to see any, at that point, the double reds should have been turned on and the truck gets DQ'd. So, Walt, you're saying turn the double reds on, but the gentleman in the right lane then gets the win. So he wins without making a run, and the left lane with the truck would just be, he just gets DQ'd. I think you could, if there's a clear ruling in this book in the rule book about touching a car up there. Now, another thing I do want to point out is I've seen people rolling up to the starting line and a crew person in the back, like as soon as the pre-stage comes on, they turn on a data logger or something. I hope it's a data logger. I hope it's not anything else. And I see people doing that a lot. And I've always kind of thought that was a little bit pushing the envelope. But if that's legal or illegal, I don't know. Somebody let me know. From the driver perspective, that's one of the most distracting things that can happen during your procedure. A few years ago, BIR, I guess Brainerd, the starter came up and slammed my door when I was staging. Yeah, that can throw you off. But if your door is not shut, it's got to be done, right? It better be safe than sorry in that situation. No person shall be ahead of the starter. Okay. Is that a ruling or is that your opinion? Let me know. Because it sounds like it's logical to me. The starter runs the starting line. It is his call. Just like if the truck was leaking fluid, the other car gets a bye. All right, so you would have turned on the blinking red lights, DQ'd this guy, back out the guy in the right lane and have him start his stage procedure over again so he can make his run? Walt, is that what we're thinking here? Because I want the person, if he wants to make his run. Like if he needs the data, he or she, and wants to make the run, then that's fine. Restart him. Let me know on that. So then I also heard that after the situation, the starter discussed this with the gentleman that fell to the ground, and they shook hands after, and I think all is well. If anybody else can verify that for me, I'd appreciate it. So it sounds like all is well. So Walt, you're saying yes. Red lights on, back him out, let him go again. Go ahead, get your solo pass. All right, yeah, I get it. I think that's fine. So yeah, just the only thing I could find here was this ruling that you see on the screen. And if anybody else has any more information about that, let me know. If anybody else knows about another ruling that I didn't find in the rule book about this, let me know. But like I said, I don't think. When I'm racing stock or super stock, like if I'm driving my own cars or if my father's with me, he will, we usually shake hands or whatever. He shuts the door. I pull into the burnout box. He never touches the car again. He will go out to the starting line, try and find me a little sticky spot and, kind of line me up, but that's it. He doesn't, we don't have anything to turn on, there's nothing there. And my dad's great. He checks the hood 3 times, checks both passenger door, driver door, you know, once I get in. So we know all that stuff's already taken care of. Because if it's up to me, you know, by myself sometimes, I'm like, oh God, did I check that passenger door? Is that one shut all the way? You know, and I'll be taking my belts off, hopping around, and it is shut all the way. Hurry up, get back in. But yeah, when Dad's with me, that's all. He's the double checker. He knows, he checks everything. So, here's another situation from Pomona. A super stock car goes red. Round 1. Car who won bypassed fuel check and the scales. NHRA didn't do anything about it. All right, I did see this. This was Rochelle T. Bear posted about this on Facebook. Thanks for bringing this back to my attention, Brian. I forgot to write it in my notes for this episode. So, anybody has any more comments or information about the Comp Eliminator situation? And hopefully that's all well. I hope no lawsuits, nothing. You know, I hope the situation's okay. Was the force a little excessive? Possibly. I don't know. Just don't. That cost, you know, the lawsuit will just get passed right on to us. That wouldn't be good. So let me know about that situation. On to this situation. Rochelle T. Bear, 66 Chevy 2, right? In super stock. Stick car, GTM. So she's running against this person. She red lights. He doesn't go past the scales. Who drives past the scale? Like, if I went around and I come off the track, right? And I don't see anybody at scales or fuel check, like, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm pulling up there and I'm like getting out of the car and I'm like looking for somebody. Like, am I supposed to weigh? Am I supposed to check? Like, I'm not driving back to my pit without somebody giving me a verification that it's okay to drive back to my pit. Now, it seems like we're weighing all the time now. I mean, a few years back, sometimes they didn't weigh. It seems like we weigh every run now. Fuel check is not every single run, but occasionally. But I do not go back to the pit unless I am told, yes, you're good. We don't need fuel this time. I always drive up to the scale to make sure, like, it's open and I have to get weighed, or if not, I don't go anywhere until they tell me. All right. I'm not about to get DQ'd over something stupid like that if they just drove, 500 miles to get to the race. It's just insanity to me. When I was at the Jeg Sports Nationals last year, I had a buy run in class. It was like a semifinal. And, you know how you can take, I took the starting line, but I never did it before. Like, you just take the starting line and then just back out. So I was really confused. I'm like, well, do I have to go to fuel check and scales? I just took the line and backed out. So I was a nervous wreck about it. So I drove the car all the way down to the fuel check and scales, and they checked fuel. They did it all, and I got weighed and everything. And I still wasn't sure if I had to do it, but I wasn't about to get DQ'd before the final of class. So if anybody knows the ruling on that, let me know. Do you have to scale and fuel check when you just break the beam and back out? I mean, I was thinking you did, and my common sense was telling me, and my panic attack was telling me that, yeah, why wouldn't you? You won the round. I think you have to still make sure the car's legal. So anyways, what did they, did anything become of this? Okay. Did anything become of this? Was the gentleman allowed to race in the second round? Let me know, Brian. If an NHRA official opens your door and does not close it, then sends you down the track with an open door, how can you DQ the racer for an NHRA fault? Well, did that happen somewhere, or did that happen in that Comp Eliminator run? Because I didn't think did the starter open the door and not close it all the way? Is that what you're saying, Tony? You're saying the starter opened the door, didn't close it all the way, and then the crew member was trying to close it because the starter didn't do it? That's an interesting piece of information. Let us know. Never got clarity on if everyone wasn't weighing, or if it was just her opponent, or if she weighed when she saw him bypass the scales. Okay. So we don't know. I mean, who was the opponent? I guess we could say. I could just look it up, right? That was in Superstock round 1. Superstock round 1. Of course, that happened in March. All right. Oh, Brian, you said you saw him round 2 and he lost. Okay. So Superstock round 1. Let's see. Sergio Crespo, Superstock E modified car. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of that racer. Sergio Crespo, cool name, but didn't scale, didn't weigh. All right. Division director makes the call on a buy run. Thank you, Pat. Okay. You know what, Pat? You're so freaking knowledgeable. Every time we have a question in Division 1 or anywhere, Pat always knows the answer. Did he get to move on to second round? He did. Yeah. So he did get to move on to second round. Yes. Anytime I break the beam and back out, I clear it with an official before and ask if I have to go to the scales or not. Thank you, Steve. Okay. Got it. This is Dave Lee, 67 CUDA. When I raced in Hallsdale in Texas after the first round, I never got weighed or got the fuel check. All right. That's interesting to know. I guess we'll see what happens at Cecil County in a couple weeks, but I'm pretty sure in Division 1 we get weighed after every run. You can touch the car after the burnout. Once it's in the beams, you cannot. Yeah, and that's got to be common sense, right? Steve, you've always wondered that. Steve, and me. We've all wondered that. Thanks for clearing that up. Hopefully I get more of those break the beam and back out runs. I'll take them all day, every day. So yeah, T-Bear. I don't know. I guess that's kind of weird. All right. Well, it's got me bothered now. So let me know on that. If Rochelle is watching this, let me know. And what combo is Rochelle running in the Chevy 2, 66 Chevy 2? Because I know that they made a rule this year that you can't run GT anymore with cars that are I don't know. Was she running a 283 66 Chevy 2? I don't know if that's still allowed or not. So somebody comment and let me know on that if you can still do that. All right, guys. A couple just quick announcements. We got the 4-Wide Nationals Las Vegas in 2 weeks. Everybody, happy Easter this weekend. Enjoy your weekend with your family. But the weekend after, April 14th to 16th, 4-Wide Nationals Las Vegas. I will not be there. I was there last year. I cannot be there this year. We have our first race this year at Cecil County. Very unusual for us to have a Division 1 race April 14th to 16th at Cecil County. It always used to be August. Last year it was in the end of May. Now it's in mid-April. So those are the only 2 races that I know of, and I think an NMRA race that weekend. So good luck, everybody that's heading out to the track. Then I should see. I'm still going to do an episode next week, even post-Easter episode. Why the hell not, right? Don't forget, free car load. Not free. I'm sorry. Correction. $40 car loads at Maple Grove Memorial Day weekend for the divisional that we have there. Hope to see everybody there. Free spectators at ATCO May 5th to the 7th. The ATCO National Open, okay, May 5th to the 7th. Highly advise that for anybody that wants to see hashtag the car show, okay? National Opens, there are no horsepower hits. Remember, stock and super stock can run as fast as they want to. No penalties. So you will see huge wheelies. You will see fast times. People will set records there. They always set records at ATCO, and it's free. So why not? May 5th to the 7th. Check that out, guys. Hope to see people there. Come up and say hello. It was a pretty packed house last year, and I really appreciate ATCO doing that. ATCO Dragway in New Jersey. ATCO, New Jersey. For anybody that's not familiar, or for anybody that's somewhat close to the track, come on out. Come on out and enjoy the day. Bring your kids, bring your friend, bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, whatever. Right? Come on out. What else? 1997 Corvette, guys. 45,000 miles, garage kept, second owner. My wife's friend, he's getting rid of it, and looking for about 18 grand or best offer. If anybody's interested, I posted pictures on my Instagram, and I can post them again. It's a 97 Corvette, silver with black stripes. Got an LS1 in it, 45,000 miles on it, garage kept. Anybody interested can make a stocker out of it. What do you think, huh? And last but not least, let's just go over the points real quick. Always got to go over the points. All right. Stock Eliminator, top 5 in the nation. Here we go. Kyle Rizzoli's number 1. Jeff Atkinson and Dwayne Scheitlen tied for 2nd. Jeff Longany in 4th and Justin Lamb in 5th. All right. Superstock, top 5. Jeff Atkinson's in 1st place, 294 points. And then 2 points behind him is Kevin Helms in 2nd place. Anthony Bertozzi in 3rd place, Monty Bogan Jr. in 4th place, and Kyle Rizzoli in 5th. So Kyle Rizzoli is in the top 5 nationwide in stock and super stock. So congrats to you, sir, for showing everybody how well you are at driving a race car. He was in Ron Capps' wedding, by the way, Kyle Rizzoli. Tidbit of information for anybody that wants to know. And last couple comments, and then I'm out of here. From what I've read, in the comp race, an official opened the door but did not close it well enough to lock it. It was seen and reopened to correctly close the door and lock it. All right. That makes some sense. Thank you, Tony. Steve Johnson, Reynolds, Georgia points, Division 2. That's April 21st to the 23rd. Yes, sir. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about that next week. All right. Good luck there, by the way. 2 grade points, 1 race. So it's a double. Is that what you're telling me? 2 grade points, 1 race. I like that. Should be fast at Cecil County in April. Oh, it's going to be super fast. And it's going to be, brings me to our next point. Anybody that's in Division 1 that is not on Marty Reinhardt's email list, make sure you get on it, okay? Because he sent out an email a couple days ago, and I want everybody's votes to be heard. And I know he does too. So in Division 1, please get on Marty Reinhardt's SRAC email list because there was a vote that just took place, okay? The reason I say that is because somebody just said it's going to be fast at Cecil County, and this whole AHFS thing, it seems like everybody's racing scared. I think something might have to change to make our brand and style of racing a little bit more interesting if everybody's going to keep, slowing their cars down more so than they ever used to before. That's not good. There's heads-up races, there's class runoffs. You want to see something cool, and people shut them off at the 1,000 foot. It's not quite as fun. Yeah, I'm still making videos. I just did Casey Miles' interview, which has over 30,000 views already on YouTube, which is pretty cool. Brent Derrick and Brad Zaskowski. So I did 3 stick cars, 3 generations of Camaros, all out of Gainesville. So check them out on my YouTube channel. All right, Steven. Yeah, man, thank you. Thanks for watching. Good luck down in Reynolds, Georgia, I think is where you said you're going there. And there's 2 grade points there, double race. What class will it fit in? I don't know which car you're talking about, Ray. Ray Minnick. How you doing, Ray? And David, I may go Facebook Live at the next race I'm at. Do it. Oh, well, I want to see it. Ray, I don't know which car you're talking about. If you're talking about Casey Miles, it was E-Stick. Talking about Brad Zaskowski, it's GTE. And if you're talking about Brent Derrick, it's B-Stock, B-Stick, right? All right, guys. Great. You gave me permission to put them on my channel. I don't know what you mean, but you can post them. You can share them. You can't download them and post them as your own because that would be a copyright infringement, but I'm sure you already knew that. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Tuesday, April 4th. My name is Bobby Fazio. This is Driver Interviews with Bobby Fazio. This is the Tuesday Tell All. Happy Easter this weekend, everybody. I'll see you next week.